this button? Did the music stop? Are we ready? Yes, yes, everybody, and welcome to High on Homegrown, the cannabis podcast from Percy's Growing.com. I am Mackie from the UK, and joining us this week, we have Monkey Doo.
Hey everybody, Monkey down here in the Southeast US, enjoying a nice day today. No rain, just a little bit on the warm side, but I have a good show ready for you today. I hope everyone's got something nice to enjoy during the show.
Nice. We also have Billy Bonds.
Yo, evening guys. Hope you're all doing well out there. Cornwall's been a bit warm today, strangely, so it just feels odd. Don't feel like Cornwall. So yeah.
Yes, it's been nice and warm here all over the UK. I think we might be getting that summer, which we hear about sometimes on the TV. Might be here
Yeah,
for a few days.
I know that summer, the one that y'all get for about two weeks.
2 weeks, that's right.
And complain
lucky,
about it
right?
every day during that 2 weeks about God, it's so hot.
Yeah.
We get summer for 2 days in Cornwall. If we get 2 days of sun in a row, then that class is a summer, mate. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man.
God damn.
Now, you want some serious summer, man? Come down, visit me. I'm talking about it gets toasty down here.
I was speaking to Mark from Barney's Farm, sorting out all the prices and stuff. And he's telling me it's 41 degrees where he is, Celsius. So 41 degrees, like on his terrace daily. Damn.
That's a fact. Those are the temperatures we're starting to see here now as it comes.
Madness.
We've had a little bit lower this last week because we've had intermittent showers as this kind of the summer patterns have started to come in a little bit. But on days when it doesn't rain, yes, that's what you get.
Damn. Yeah, so it's just us three, as you can tell, because we wouldn't have left Marge just sitting there for that long. Marge is busy doing something. She did say she wasn't going to be here, and then she said she was, and then so we just got wires crossed. So she must be out enjoying her summertime because it's Canadian
summer.
That's right.
Yes.
You got to get what you can. Get out there, Marge. Have a good summertime. We'll hopefully catch her next week. But we have a lot of interesting news stories. We've got 6 of them to cover today. Let's have a quick look at what we have today. I'll give you a few spoilers there, everybody. We spoke about a copper guy. It's been so long. It was like during the COVID times when we first started this show. We've spoken about this copper in the UK a couple of times, man. And he was on suspension because he refused to take a drug test. He was chief superintendent and shit, doing shrooms, doing weed, but arresting people for doing the same thing. But yeah, he's back in the news. We'll talk about that when we get there. Fuck. We're going to be speaking about Snoop Dogg as well. Some shit with the Olympics. Apparently Snoop Dogg was running. Weird. We're also going to talk about Thailand. We spoke recently about Thailand, and they're speaking about making cannabis illegal again. But then they've realized there's loads of money in it. There's a 1 billion medical cannabis industry in Thailand. So they're not going to recriminalize. They're going to head in that direction instead. We have some news about Kamala Harris and where she stands on cannabis this time. This is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be one of the important stories. So we'll pay attention for that one, which we'll get to in just a little bit. We also have, there's a new charity formed in the UK called Transform, which is going to do some work towards legalizing cannabis. And one more is we got some crazy sharks out there high on cocaine. Yes, that's right. But that's going to be we'll cover that one last because we like to leave it on a light note, don't we? So we'll come to the cocaine sharks at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. Yeah.
That sounds like a clip out of Sharknado or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, Sharknado / Scarface AI made movie,
Cocaine sharks.
Damn, man. And then for the Grow Guides, we're going to be talking about grow mediums because this is episode 4 of the new series of Grow Guides. And by now, people have gone out there, they've planned their grow, got all the equipment they need, deciding what seeds they're going to get, which was last week. And now you need to plant the seeds into something. So that's what we're going to be covering in this show. So we want your inputs in the chat as well. What's your favorite grow medium and why? And in the comments, if you're watching after, let us know what's your favorite grow medium and why. That would be cool to hear from you guys. But yes, that's it for the intro. Nice and professional. Nice. I like it. What we smoking on, Monkey? What you got?
I've got a hybrid that I bred today. First time I'm smoking it on the air. This is a Quirkle cross with cherry gasm. It's very gassy and I'm a kind of a balanced hybrid for me. Interesting. I can't really quantify the taste yet, though.
Okay. All right. Well, you got, Billy. You got some hash, of course.
Yeah, I got some White Widow, Strawberry Calf Cross, one of Monkey's strains, and some hash. because I do.
Beautiful. Very nice. Yeah, let us know what you're
Boosted.
smoking in the chat there as well, everybody. Or, of course, if you're not here live, in the comments as well, just drop what you're smoking. We'd like to hear about that as well. Very
You
cool.
want SOS weed, Mackie, or something new?
Oh, no, I had, I'm trying some of Billy's weed here.
All right.
Yeah. It's some nice organic cannabis.
Is that the Blue Dream?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it is. This is the Blue Dream. So I'm a little bit high. Just a
Yeah, I
little
like
bit
a
high.
good Blue Dream, but Blue Dream got such a bad rep for so long because it got misidentified way too often. But a good Blue Dream, I can appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, poor pagans on some street star dog.
Oh,
How sad.
unlucky, bro. Stay strong. Stay strong. Harvest will be coming soon.
Is that Cali Star Dog? Is it what I'm talking about? Cali Star Dog?
Build a Soil 3.0 purchased once in 2020 and used constantly since. That's what I'm saying, South Silly. That's referring to mediums. Yeah, call it shit, man. One day I hope to build my own soil. But anyway, what else have we got to cover? I mean, that's about it for the intro. We've covered what we're smoking. We've covered what news we're going to be speaking about briefly. We've done a nice professional intro. And I think it's already time for the news. We might as well, because we've got 6 articles to move on to as well. So we just get stuck in. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Let's do it. Hit the like button and subscribe, everybody. Don't be shy. Let's do the news. So here we go. Is there anybody who wants to jump in and go first? Which one would really be a good news article to start with, do we think?
Who knows?
Let's get stuck in. Let's go straight away, Monkey.
My God. You really want to go into controversy, right? Okay.
Let's just
Go on. Go, go,
rip
go.
off that band-aid, as they say. Let's talk about Kamala. Let's do it.
All right. This article comes out as this: where Kamala Harris stands on cannabis as she prepares to accept the Democratic presidential nomination. Now, this is not an article pro or con on Harris. We just want to look at how is she going to treat cannabis as a presidential candidate. Okay. Voters this November will likely see the first major party presidential candidate who supports cannabis legalization at the top of the ticket after Vice President Kamala Harris is now expected to receive the Democratic nomination after Joe Biden made his historic announcement that he's exiting the race. Unlike Biden, Harris backs complete end to federal cannabis prohibition. That's interesting. She's called for legislation as early as March 2024 in a closed-door meeting with marijuana pardon recipients. And during her time in the Senate, Harris has sponsored comprehensive legislation in addition to other incremental cannabis reform measures. But this wasn't always her position. This is what the article wants you to see. We're painting it as it was and as it appears now. Okay. The current vice president has undergone a significant evolution in the issue, as she oversaw cannabis cases as a prosecutor and campaigned against cannabis legalization ballot initiatives in California while running for state attorney general. She was openly dismissive of reform and at one point laughed off a reporter's question about potential policy change. That's no longer the case, however. Harris has framed legal legislation for legalization as a key criminal justice issue, calling prohibition a failed policy that has disproportionately impacted minority communities. As vice president, she has repeatedly touted the administration's move to issue mass pardons to people who have committed federal cannabis possession offenses and direct a scheduling review that led the Justice Department to recommend reclassifying cannabis, that is from a Schedule 3 to a Schedule 1. She also privately called for a broader reform. Put simply, she ultimately secured her party's presidential, if ultimately she secures her presidential party nomination, Harris will become the most cannabis-friendly major party presidential nominee in presidential history in the U.S. We have a look at where Vice President Harris stands on cannabis. It gets pretty wordy. There's tons of sound bites and just clips in here. I will try to avoid the repetitiveness here, but there is quite a bit of that in here. So Harris made much of the administration's cannabis clemency efforts, applauding the president's mass pardons of thousands of people who committed federal cannabis possession offenses. She's also embraced the scheduling review Biden directed in October 2022 that ultimately led the Justice Department to recommend moving cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 of the Controlled Substance Act. In March, Harris posted hosted a group of pardon recipients at the White House for a roundtable event promoting the clemency action. She called on the Drug Enforcement Administration to follow through on rescheduling as quickly as possible, while privately reaffirming her belief that we need to legalize cannabis. The issue is stark when one considers the fact that on the schedule currently, cannabis is considered as dangerous as heroin and more dangerous than fentanyl. That's crazy when you think about that. You know,
Madness.
fentanyl is a Schedule 2, cannabis is a Schedule 3. One will kill you, one won't.
And one will kill you with like
backwards.
a quarter of a gram or something. It's not even
That's
like
right.
you need a lot. It's like that shit is deadly.
You smoke a quarter pound of weed, you're basically going to sleep it off for a while. And that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, it's crazy right now. With respect to pardons, as advocates have been quick to point out, there are still an estimated 2,800 people currently in federal prison for cannabis convictions that aren't limited to simple possession. These are people that might have had some above a certain amount and also listed with intent to distribute or trafficking or something that minor situation, but not just simple possession. Multiple groups, including immigrants and those who have been charged with selling cannabis, were excluded from the presidential pardon. So you had to be a citizen. There you go. But symbolically, however, the announcement represents a paradigm shift in federal cannabis policy. As recognized that a majority of cannabis convictions happen at state level, the administration also took the opportunity to urge governors in states across the U.S. to follow Biden's lead and use their own authority to grant similar relief. Now, Mackie, what were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Didn't we covered this when Biden initially said, "Oh, we're going to release all these people who are in federal prison for cannabis possession," and there was like 3 people.
Yeah, those are the people that actually got released from prison. And later on in this article, we can jump ahead to this point. They talk about how many people are actually have received action on it. And while Harris is saying that's tens of thousands of people, the Justice Department says more accurately, it's more like I think they said 13,000 people, not tens of thousands, but those 13,000 people mostly were people who just had records expunged, so they no longer have a federal drug conviction on their records. So they were not, most of them were not in jail, in other words. So they were not quote unquote released, but they were pardoned. So it's good though, because at least that means it's off their records and they can, they can get federal housing, they can apply for jobs without having that dragging them down. So, but it's there. To say under the current administration, the president also signed into law the first piece of standalone cannabis reform legislation that was designed to streamline cannabis research. However, the administration has also faced criticism over anti-cannabis actions, including multiple budget requests that proposed maintaining a ban that has long prevented Washington, D.C. From using its local tax dollars to implement the sale of cannabis. So in D.C., that you can have medical cannabis. I think I've talked about this before, but maybe some of our users haven't heard me complain about this. It's crazy. They want medical cannabis, and the residents of DC are in favor of recreational cannabis because the federal government, though, is in charge of the certain rules in the Washington, D.C. area. They have blocked recreational cannabis in DC, so I love this part about it. DC has gone around and decided that, okay, what we're going to do then is all you have to do is walk into a dispensary and you declare that you need medical cannabis, you can self-certify and you can buy weed. How's that? I love those when people have innovative solutions to problems. But that's what DC has done there. But it would be a lot easier if they would just say, okay, we have a recreational system. Here it is, and we're done. But even Biden and Trump both, nobody has allowed DC to go ahead and become recreational. It's one of those crazy things. The Justice Department, meanwhile, has repeatedly defended the federal court, defended in federal courts the ongoing ban of gun ownership by people who use cannabis, arguing that cannabis consumers pose a unique threat and comparing them to people with mental illness. Now, I'm not sure if the Justice Department's action fall under what the presidents are doing, because as we know, these things are just so freaking crazy out there. But I think what the Justice Department here is saying is that the law is written this way, and this is how we're going to enforce it until you change it. So that's not so good. Also, under the current administration, U.S. Customs and Border Protection have faced scrutiny for using resources to seize cannabis from state legal businesses in New Mexico. Now, we talked about this before because the Customs Border Patrol is tasked to enforce cannabis possession X number of miles away from a border. Any legal cannabis that happens to fall into that area, if they're making a sweep, is confiscated because, quote unquote, it's not federally legal. So even though it was grown state legal, if it happens to fall in that area when they come in there with the sweep, they lose the weed. So that
This
ain't
article
right.
is long, right? I mean, I'm
It
still
is.
trying to find out where you were from when you
We ain't
like
even
moved
get
from the
into the
article.
Senate yet.
This is
We ain't
long.
even. It's a long article. Let's cut to the chase here. But anyway, cutting back to the chase, I did read through the article, and we'll get to some key points. When she was a senator, Harris sponsored the MORE Act, which was supposed to legalize cannabis. This is one that Schumer was pushing back in the day. MORE Act was killed because, well, we had no cooperation within the parties at the time. And so it died. So she has been in favor of such things as this. She was not in favor of a recreational legalization of cannabis while she was in California. So that was interesting that she was in favor of medical, but then she wasn't in favor of recreational. But once it became legal, then she wanted the state to rewrite the laws to support it. So it's a convoluted situation here with her past and her present don't seem to match up with the cannabis things.
Yeah, politicians flip flop all the time, man. She's a politician. This is what we see from them.
Now, currently, what she's saying is that she supports cannabis legalization. I don't know how you get that passed though, because a president can't just wave a wand and make that happen. It has to go through Congress, and
people have to do research to know that she can make these promises, and then when she gets into power, she ain't gonna do shit. Joe Biden said the same thing. Do you remember?
Actually, it was her that said it for him, though. He never
that's
uttered
right.
the
Yeah,
words.
yeah, it was her who
He
said
never
it on her
uttered the
behalf.
words. Yeah, she screamed it on stage while they were both on stage, but the words never left his mouth. They left her lips, not his.
Yeah.
So it was interesting like that, though. But we don't really know where this is going. But I would say that we have a better chance with Harris than we've ever had with any other presidential candidate, having a candidate that is at least highly favorable to cannabis. Don't know if it's going to become legal, but I feel like that if Congress would send her a legalization bill, that she would sign it.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just skeptical, not only because she's a politician and politicians are all fucking liars, and we've been offered this promise so many times before by many politicians, and it never fucking happens. But she's got some dodgy history, man. When she was a prosecutor in California or something, where she held 1,500 people back and kept them in prison for longer so she could use them as cheap labor or some shit like that. And
I don't remember those those articles were not in here, things like that at all. So I really have no idea what that is all about.
And it's just fucked, man. It's just...
Well, the race is becoming tighter. Since she entered the race, it's actually becoming tighter and tighter. So because if you look at the polls, 90% of the American voting public is in favor of medical marijuana, and 70% of the voting public is in favor of recreational marijuana. I feel like that Harris will actually use this in her campaign, to get votes. I mean, my gosh, why not? It's a huge thing. If she says, "Yeah, I'm going to make it legal, I'm going to sign it," she may end up picking up a few votes, and it certainly won't hurt her. So I do expect this to be thrown out in the campaign once she has her nomination.
Yeah, man.
Interesting. We're going to have to hold on and see, guys. This is going to get hot fast.
Yeah, well, we'll keep you all informed as this progresses, obviously. What do you think, Billy? You haven't said much on this one. What's your take on this?
I'm still unsure. Again, like you say, she's a politician, so history doesn't really say anything. It's whoever's paying her the most at the time, isn't it? That's how it generally goes with these guys. So it's who's paying out and when is really what way she's going to vote for. And I mostly see it's pharmaceutical people paying them to keep it how it is, to keep the status quo at the minute.
Curious.
They're the ones making the money.
I don't have this answer. Can cannabis businesses contribute to campaigns?
That's a fucking interesting question.
Possibly not, because it's federal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know.
I mean, man, we have to look into that and come back next week with that one.
If that's, because they were doing it, but that's a state campaign, though. They were doing it in Florida. They were letting these people jump in.
Considered as free speech, right? And would you be able to restrict the
Technically,
free speech
yes.
of somebody like that?
Technically, yes, but the federal government could jump in and pull
Mm-mm.
strings and say ill-gotten gains or something like that.
Yeah,
Or who
that's
knows?
right.
I don't really. It's a great question, but I don't
Good
I
question.
don't have that answer
Well,
though.
that's why you can't process the money federally because it's illegal federally. So I shouldn't think you'd be able to make a donation to a federal, like,
Uh, they have
politician.
there are cannabis banks that do exist right now. The fees on these banks because of the situation they're higher, but they do exist, and yes, cannabis businesses do have places to run their money through. So I'm sure that they could get money into the campaigns.
Mm-mm.
If that's a legal thing and if they wanted to, I really don't know. But that would be interesting because if she's positive cannabis and Republicans come in as negative cannabis, yeah, what would you do if you're a campaign if you that's your business,
Yeah.
I don't know. This is going to get interesting really
Yeah,
fast now.
definitely,
We
definitely.
have two polarized sides here, definite clear
Mm.
cut. One says no legalization, one says absolute legalization.
Well, I don't think that's correct. I think one side says it's up to the states, and the other side
Um,
says we'll legalize.
Actually, there is a bill going through the House of Representatives, Republican sponsored bill right now that is seeking to force the government to keep cannabis at Schedule One and lock it in forever, kind of situation like that. So there is
Wow,
active work being done by the Republicans to block even rescheduling at this point.
damn. So
So yeah,
yeah,
it's going to get bad, man.
and we'll keep you all informed, everybody, as things move forward over the next few months. It's going to be very interesting. But
That's
let us know
right.
what you all think in the comments. Let us know what do you think about Kamala Harris. You think that she'll legalize if she wins the election? Do you think her past is dodgy? What do you think about Kamala Harris there? And what else did we mention as well? Man, mentioned a little something else at the end there, which would have been a good discussion for the comments too. Can't remember what it
Do you
was
think the
now.
Republicans will legalize it and turn it back to the states? Is the other question,
Yeah, yeah. Let us know what everybody thinks. It'll be an interesting conversation. But of course, the conversations in the comments have to be polite and respectful. Don't be a
Yeah.
dick. But yeah, good story. I like this one. This is my kind of shit. Let's see what happens next. Right.
No telling, man. Tell you
Let's
what, one
do.
good thing about this, Mackie, is politics are really screwed up. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah. Politics
Anyway, let's move on.
all over the world. It's fucked. But damn,
Hey, man.
that's for the session. You know.
Yes,
But
sir.
let's talk about this copper. This motherfucker. I'll just read it straight out. Sacking of Met commander over drugs test overturned. Overturned. Okay, let's read some of this. The sacking. Let me put it on the screen for you, so you can all see it and read along with me. The sacking of a senior Metropolitan Police officer over his failure to provide a sample for a drugs test has been overturned. Former Commander Julian Bennett, who wrote the force's drug strategy for 2017 to 2021, was found to have committed gross misconduct by refusing to provide a urine specimen after he was accused of smoking cannabis. Do you remember the guy? We covered him ages ago. Do you remember? I'll keep reading so there's more hints. He appealed against his dismissal before the police appeal tribunal on Friday, and it was quashed. Scotland Yard said it was considering a legal challenge about the decision, saying senior officers were expected to lead by example. A new hearing will take place, and Mr. Bennett will not return to duty while the force weighs up its options, the Met said. Assistant Commissioner Matt Twist said, I'm very concerned by this decision, and I have no doubt that the public and hardworking colleagues across the Met will be appalled that this case remains unresolved after such a long time. Because it's been ages, right? This guy, he's like a commissioner, chief fucking, I don't know, he's high up in the police office, in the police force. He's going to be getting a hefty wage, and he was suspended with full pay while they did further investigation. This has been like 3 or 4 years now. This guy has been suspended on full pay. And now it's come to the point where the case is finally coming to the courts and it just gets squashed like that. So what, is he going to get his job back? You know what I mean? What the fuck is this? How much money has been spent on behalf of the taxpayer for this guy to just sit at home and not get this case fucking fixed? Wow.
3 year holiday.
That's right. 2-year paid vacation, man.
Wow. And he's not doing anything wrong. He's just smoking some weed. And if he did, allegedly, because they say about now this is all bullshit now. So, allegedly this guy was smoking cannabis and doing mushrooms, which is cool. We all do cannabis and mushrooms, right? If not, why not? Ask yourself. But this guy was arresting people for it at the same time. He wrote the drug strategy. It's like, this fucked up, man. You couldn't make this shit up, could you? But
How
let's
comes
read
he's not
some.
gone mad and turned into a bat yet? Then
If
Shoot.
he gets that bat weed, I want it.
But if you fucking get suspended from work for 3 years and you ain't smoking weed, what are you doing with your life, man? Fuck. It very clearly illustrates why reform of the misconduct process is so needed and why the Met have been calling for urgent change. Cannabis before breakfast. This is like a subtitle here.
Yeah,
In
that sounds like my
October,
everyday.
yeah, wake and bake, isn't it? They just spelled it wrong. In October last year, a disciplinary panel rejected a claim by Mr. Bennett's former flatmate, Sheila Gomes, that he had used cannabis daily before breakfast. But it found that he had breached professional standards when he refused to do a drug test. Instead, he offered to resign on the spot and asked for a meeting with the commissioner, Dame Cressida Dick.
Uh,
Caress the Dick. That's a weird name. So immature. Don't be so immature, Billy. Gosh. Mr. Bennett said he had been taking CBD to treat facial palsy and was worried the sample would come up positive for an innocent reason. But at the same time this guy says that, there's people out there who are being prosecuted for CBD. You think a police officer gives a shit if you tell them that it's CBD cannabis? They don't care. It's just the hypocrisy is the bullshit here, and that's it.
Yeah, but
that's all I really wanted to say about this article. I mean, we don't even
yeah,
need to read through the whole thing. Sorry, Monkey, you saying?
if he tested positive for a CBD thing, only thing we're going to do is flag him for a retest in so many months. That's him resigning, basically saying I'm guilty.
But it's just a couple of paragraphs. Let's get through this. By failing to provide the sample, Mr. Bennett was found to have breached forced standards for honesty and integrity, orders and instructions, and discreditable conduct. Wow. His lawyers argued that while he had always admitted refusing to provide a sample, the panel found him guilty of a lack of integrity that he had not been charged with. This meant the misconduct finding was not permissible, they claimed. A date for the new hearing has not been set yet. So this guy is going to be at home, chilling. And what? When this all gets overturned at the end, when it's all actually said and done, the mental stress that it has caused him, he's going to also go in for a compensation claim. And he'll win. And he'll get a shitload of money and he'll chill for the rest of his life. He's smoking weed and doing shrooms, while other people are locked up for the rest of their life for smoking weed and doing shrooms. How much bullshit is that? So yeah, I just wanted to keep you updated on this article here, because this is one which we have reported on a couple of times now. And yeah, so this is the most recent update. We'll let you know what happens when we figure out what happens at the end. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this, lads? What you say, Monkey? What do you think about this?
Never fair. I mean, this is preferential treatment any way you put it there.
Mm-hmm.
The man resigned. I mean,
well, he offered to resign.
They should have accepted it on the spot. The hell with it,
Mm-hmm.
No, they should have just let him resign and the hell with it. That's what I think. But after 2 years of waiting for all this to come around, for the court to say, "Oh no, this is invalid," that's bullshit. That costs the taxpayers way too much money, man.
It's like, let's rush this one through. Stop messing around.
Sweep this one under the rug here. We don't want everybody knowing about this. We got other people that are guilty too.
That's right, but there's other people that ain't getting paid $100,000 a year or whatever.
Right.
Let that one be in the queue for a bit and just quickly, save a little bit of taxpayer money here, would you please? And spend it a little bit more wisely and get this guy sorted out as quickly as possible. Either way, just hurry the fuck up. So what do we have next? Billy, what you got, man? You wanna talk about one of your articles now?
Yeah, I've got one here which is from Leafy, actually, this one. It's drug policy charity Transform launches UK cannabis legislation campaign. So it's a new campaign for cannabis to basically lobby the government. So Transform hopes that they'll be raising 50,000. They will be able to work with policymakers to enact legislative change and raise public awareness about the benefits of cannabis reform. So the independent drug charity Transform has launched a £50,000 crowdfunder to campaign for the legislation of cannabis in the UK. So, founded in 1996, Transform promotes drug policy reform in the UK and across the world. The charity has published numerous reports and publications on how to regulate legal markets for the non-medical use of cannabis safety. So, Transform states that the ongoing legislation of cannabis in other countries such as Germany provides an opportunity to highlight the failures of cannabis prohibition in the UK. The unregulated cannabis market, the charity says, puts the health and safety of the public, particularly young people, at risk,
Hold on,
which it
Billy.
certainly does.
Sorry to interrupt. Arnie Scarpa says that Billy is louder than you, Mackie. I think your mic is a little bit loud compared to everybody else, I think.
Okay, maybe.
Maybe we did get him to turn it up before the show. Trying to get the levels balanced, but we don't know what it sounds like to you guys out there live, and we don't want to sit there at the start of the show and ruin our professional intro there by going, "Can everybody check our sound for us?"
Test.
You know,
Sound
how's
check.
loud is monkey? You know.
Test one, check.
What are we saying, Billy?
Testing,
You want to speak?
testing.
Is that better?
I'll try again. I'll try again. I'll try again.
think that might
I'll
be better.
try again. I'll
Yeah.
try again. Is that better? Is that better? Is that
Yeah.
better?
Is that
Is
better,
that-
everybody?
The chat's got to tell us shit. We don't know.
Yeah,
Crazy J
that's what I
sounds
mean.
fine.
So I
Yes,
mean.
nice.
So I mean. So I
Better.
mean.
Bit
So I
more.
mean. So I mean.
Stonewall says a bit more.
Do a pre-show check, sound check. We don't have the ability to do that. We can't listen to it until it goes live. Yeah, so
That's down to
know.
YouTube.
not
I
that
mean
difficult.
YouTube.
Let's see your live stream, son.
Yeah, because Zoom readjusts our volumes automatically, so everything
Exactly.
sounds normal.
And
to
then it goes
us.
through Zoom and then through the Streamlabs as well. You know, so it's difficult to get the balances. We're in a professional setup. We're just guys just on the internet, man, doing our shit. It gets adjusted in post, so everything's level when it goes out for the download. But this is a live show, and we don't have staff to do this shit for us. We do our
No,
best.
we got to get up. We need a fundraising thing to, so we can get our professional setups and everything, make it all right.
They have a mixer and shit. Say check, Billy. Say check. You know.
Yeah. An editor? Ooh.
You know. Ooh. Yeah, that would be cool. One day we can dream. We can dream.
Yes.
Am I too loud now? Oh shit! See, now I've got to edit all that out. Jesus, you see what?
That's
I gotta do
fine.
now?
But he says, okay, we got it now. Everybody says,
Yes.
sounds good. Okay.
So
Carry
we
on,
can say
Billy.
fucking bollocks now because he's got to edit it out. You see,
They can hear it. Yeah.
Nah,
Might as well.
nah.
Might as well. We'll get 18 flagged for that now. God damn it.
Yeah.
Right,
Right,
what are we saying,
anyway.
Billy?
Cannabis laws designed to reduce and ultimately eradicate cannabis use and the illicit drug market have been an abject failure, which they completely have. Like everyone knows, the cannabis laws have completely failed across the board, basically, not just in the UK, everywhere across the
Yep.
world.
And this is what I'm saying, and you know, I don't want to say it because it just sounds like I'm being a fucking dick, but these guys been around since 1996. It's 30 years, and they haven't made great progress, man. Why would you give them 50 grand? Is that just me being pessimistic?
Slightly, yeah, because they have done some good stuff at
Okay.
Transform. So, yeah. And 50,000 isn't really much to ask.
It
to be
really
honest.
isn't a lot of money, is it?
No, no,
in
it's not
comparison
at all.
to everything else.
So these laws have basically existed for 50 years, yet there are 2.5 million people using cannabis in the UK every year, supplied by a market worth 2.5 billion on estimation, a market which remains in control of organised
I know,
crime.
madness.
So yeah,
Madness.
which is beyond madness, really.
And they'll
so not
probably
only
tax
is-
that 50%. So you're looking at $1 billion coming in from tax there.
Yeah. Not only is cannabis prohibition fueling crime, which it most certainly is, and ensuring that all the profits of this ever-expanding market goes untaxed into the pockets of organised crime groups, but it's also maximising the health risks of associated with use. Again, because nothing's grown properly, tested, sort of. So even the stuff what's grown in California again is still sort of not that great. So people not being able to do homegrown is causing a lot of issues.
Mm-hmm.
So more than half of people in the UK that support the legislation of cannabis, a figure that increases to 80% amongst Gen Z and 67% among millennials. I hate these terms, by the way, but
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
Transform hopes that by raising £50,000, they will be able to work with policymakers to enact legislative change and raise public awareness about the benefits of cannabis reform by working with key experts and impact communities to produce a detailed vision of how cannabis should be responsibly regulated for adult use within the UK, support by a roadmap of how we deliver it, producing a groundbreaking new analysis that will lay out the economic opportunities of a regulated cannabis market for the UK, both cost savings and tax revenues, ensuring it receives the attention of the new government as well as the wider public. So increasing positive media coverage and public understanding of cannabis reforms, which really is the main thing, is the positive media side of things, because you never get too much positive stuff. You just always get the scaremongering reefer madness shit, really, don't you?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and also they want to do analysing global cannabis reforms and learning lessons for the UK on what's worked and what hasn't across the world market, building cross-party support in Parliament, which you've already got the APPG, and promoting and informing debate in both houses in all party groups and select committees, as well as developing a private members bill to serve as a rallying point for reform in Westminster, because the last private members bill sort of died with the Parliament member that introduced it because he died.
Lame.
So yeah, lame.
That's how long
The
the fucking
charity,
battle's been going on for. It's
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
ridiculous.
basically, yeah. The charity has a commitment to remaining independent, receiving no government funding and refusing money or gifts from companies in industries that may profit from a legal cannabis market, including pharmaceutical, alcohol and tobacco companies. The crowdfunding campaign runs until the 30th of September and can be found at justgiving.com. So, yeah, that's it.
Sweet.
So if you want to donate some money to them, you can, but
I'd like to get them on the show. I'm going to try and reach out to these guys.
yeah,
I think that would be cool. We can find out more
that'd
about
be
them
really
and
interesting.
see
Yeah.
what they've done in the past and things like that. This will be an interesting interview. If I can get hold of them, we'll see. I'll try. But man, something has to be done. And 50 grand isn't a lot of money. It makes me wonder what they're going to be spending it on. Because we also have guys like Guy Coxwell. Guy Coxwell. Of course, Guy Coxwell from See That Future. He has things in the pipeline that he said should be done by the end of the year. That it should pretty much decriminalize cannabis. But he keeps on getting put back. So does it really matter how much money you have? If the system doesn't want you to go forward with it, it's not going to let you go forward. They'll figure out a way to fucking stop it. Or am I think I'm just being pessimistic because you've just been knocked down so much, man.
It takes a big enough force and a big enough following to get enough support to move forward. A single person just with an idea is going nowhere.
Yeah.
You have to have a driving force. You have to have momentum.
Damn. Let's see what they can do. Fingers crossed, man. They push forward with something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what do we have next? Should we do another one? Of course we should do another one. How many have we done? We've done that one. Monkey, do you want to do another one now? Because Marge isn't here. Billy, you can
That's a
cover
big one
Marge's
too, isn't it?
article in a little bit, right? But we'll do Monkey's next one.
Which one? The cocaine sharks?
Oh no, that's the last one. Yeah, we don't want to do that one just yet. We don't want to do cocaine sharks. Let me see what we got.
We got
left here.
Marges and cocaine
We
sharks.
did second of the Met. We got the Snoop Dogg one to come up. We got the Thailand one. Billy's just done his. Yeah, so Billy, I'll do the next. I'll do the Snoop Dogg one. That's what we'll do, and then we'll do Thailand next, which Billy can cover, and then we'll do cocaine sharks. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Ooh. Last track, because I didn't know who to give Marge's article to. Yeah, I had to do all the maths again there. Anyway, so let's speak about Snoop Dogg. Did everybody see the Olympics started? Everybody see that? Oh gosh, it was a little bit of controversial opening ceremony from what I've seen.
Some people had a little problems with parts of it. Let's put it that way,
Yeah, let's put it nice and politely like that.
Politely, exactly. But I did like the design of those Olympic torches. They kind of reminded me of something, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Some odd socks. That's all I've got to say. Some definitely odd socks.
All right, so we all know who Snoopy D-O-G is, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We have fans point out big problem for Snoop Dogg as he reveals Olympic role. Hope he doesn't drop it like it's hot. This is from the ladbible.com. So let's read into this. The countdown for the Olympics is well and truly on, and we're just days away from watching athletes from around the world compete in all kinds of sports, from football and swimming to breakdancing and skateboarding. And that means we're back to the usual antics. A load of sex in the Olympic Village, the rumors of surprises for opening ceremony, and random celebrities carrying the torch. Random? That's a strange sentence. One of those confirmed his role this morning, Snoop Dogg. Yep, the drop it like it's hot rapper is being given the responsibility of carrying the Olympic torch during the final stages of the relay in Paris on Friday, the 26th of July. So yeah, this is kind of weird, man, because I mean, Snoop Dogg's just known for smoking. He's got look at this picture on screen. If you're watching us on YouTube now, look how high Snoop Dogg is in that picture. He can't see where he's going. Look at his eyes.
His eyes aren't
He's
open,
so
man. What you talking
high,
about?
man. But cannabis is it's a banned substance in the Olympics. It's a performance enhancing drug. Even if somebody's using CBD for medicine, it's not allowed. So what are they trying to encourage here? I don't know. It's a confusing message, but I think that's what everybody's saying about the Olympics so far. Yeah, it is kind of hypocritical, says South Silly in the chat, and I agree. Yeah. But anyway, fair play to Snoop Dogg. I saw some meme with Snoop Dogg running with the torch, because it's happened now. He's done the run. He didn't fall over or anything. And the guy was oh man, I completely lost my train of thought now. Stoned ass motherfucker. Oh yeah, that'll come back to me. But yeah, we'll read through the article a little bit more. But while he teased his presence this morning, fans have pointed out a big problem for the 52-year-old. Real name, we won't say his real name, how dare you? The hip-hop star took to X with a snap of him outside the City Hall Hotel de Ville as he wrote, "You ready, Paris 2024 Olympics, you dig?" With gold medal and boxing glove emojis. Snoop is actually working as a special correspondent for NBC while he is out in Paris, and limbered up for the first time in the French capital by posting a time of 34.44 seconds over 200 meters during a special exhibition race at the US trials last month. Fair play to him. And I remember what that meme was. This man has completed more side missions than anybody else ever. You know what I'm saying? He's done just about everything. Now running with the Olympic torch and shit. Fair play though, Snoop. Fair play. But it's just the hypocrisy, isn't it, of cannabis being a banned substance in the Olympics, but let's let Snoop Dogg, clearly high as a motherfucker, just run with the torch for a little bit and be like, haha, you can't do this. A little bit more of the article here. The fact that cannabis use is illegal in France. Yeah, so it's not just banned for the Olympics, but it's illegal in France, Well, the country is even regarded by many as having some of the strictest laws on drugs in Europe. Some types of cannabis-derived products are permitted there for medical use, but very widely, weed is illegal. There is no matter how popular it is. So while fans are excited about Snoop's little side hustle gig at the Olympics, many were quick to remind him, Snoop, weed is illegal in Paris. Because let's be honest, we all know he likes a joint now and then. Okay, well, most of the time. Yeah, so the article continues. It goes on. But the thing is, it's his medicine. You're telling me because he's in France, you don't need his medicine anymore? This is the
that's what France would say. That's what France would say.
Mm-hmm. And then France is going to have to argue with the USA, and they ain't going to win that argument, are they?
Snoop's probably got a big old stash of edibles and just,
Damn.
yeah. He calls them, they're not edibles, they're snacks.
It's stupidness, man. It's stupidness. It's hypocrisy, and this is why we need to do something about the laws in these countries that haven't legalized yet. Because this is happening all the time. Like, it's illegal in the UK. You come to the UK with weed, you're getting arrested. As a report all the time when people bring cannabis into the UK and get arrested. But they're not doing anything wrong. In other countries, it's completely legal. So that goes to show that there's a problem with the law. There's a problem with the system. That needs to be addressed. So let's just hope it happens one day. But I think it's funny. I like Snoop Dogg. I think he's a legend, man. The Last Meal is one of the best albums of all time. I love that album. Play it often. Tunes with that one. Fucking True Lies. You know? Oh, man. Tunes. I love that album. Snoop's a legend. So, yeah, smoke weed as much as he likes. Anything to add here to this one? I don't know. Snoop.
Yeah,
Snoop.
do you reckon he lit up a joint off the fucking torch?
Imagine if he did. He should have. He should have.
You got to, ain't you?
It's worth
really?
the argument. I would have done
It's-
that. If,
Yeah,
got
you would.
to have
You
it-
have to have done that.
That's an Olympic blunt, wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Yeah, it's your only chance to do it, so you got to take the opportunity.
But I want to see the video of him running. That's what I want to see. How old is he now? He's like 50 something, right? Imagine he's just, running 200 meters. You think he works out? You think he's got like a little gym in his house, treadmill and shit, but he just runs on every day? And he trained to do the 200 meters? Do you think? 200 meters is a long way for somebody who smokes every day. You know what I'm saying? Jesus. That's what I think anyway. You've all gone quiet.
We're just kind of trolling you a little bit.
Oh, brilliant.
No,
Brilliant.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So, yes, that's the Olympics. Anybody watching the Olympics, let us know. Let us know if you are pissed off about the opening ceremony as well. It seems like a lot of people have been. Very interesting. Weird. Weird.
I'm a live and let live kind of guy. You know what? They did a ceremony, whether I like it or not, it's okay. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Doesn't bother
it's just
me.
me.
I just think it's weird.
Yeah.
That's with the blue
I can
guy
turn
with
it
the
off,
ginger
you know?
beard, man. Weird.
Well, I thought the croissant dress was kind of like, really? You doing that? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of weird things, you know.
Right then. We've done the one about the crooked copper, and there's the one about Snoop Dogg. Billy, you want to do the one about the Thailand one, if you don't mind, man?
Yeah, if you want me to, don't mind. So, Thailand, eh? You know what it's all about? Weed. And they
Weed?
criminal. Yep. But they decide to not recriminalize cannabis as it eyes a 1 billion medical industry, apparently. Oh,
That's a lot of
strange,
money.
eh? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all of them like they like, yeah, we're gonna cancel it. We're gonna get rid of it. Look at this. Oh, hold on. Have you seen this?
Yeah. So how much?
You know how much? Okay, we can't go.
Yeah.
We can't go all the way. Fuck.
Look at all them zeros. or someone come along with a big envelope and said, "There you go. Look, there's,
You know
there's
how
a
they
few
love
more
their
there."
envelopes.
Yeah, exactly. They love their thick
Fuck.
brown envelopes, don't they? Right. Anyway, Thailand will regulate cannabis for medical use instead of relisting the plant as a narcotic. So the Deputy Prime Minister said on Tuesday in the government's U-turn on its previous policy. Prime Minister Sureta Fasisin, yeah. See, we always got to fuck up the names in this show. It's tradition.
That's right.
So that the Prime Minister has vowed to make cannabis illegal by the end of 2024, just 2 years after Thailand became one of the first countries in Asia to decriminalize marijuana, cannabis. The decriminalisation of cannabis without proper laws and guidelines led to an explosion of recreational use and the launch of tens of thousands of cannabis cafes promoting public concern about its abuse. The Deputy Prime Minister, Untin Navaranko, said the government would now discuss plans for a draft legislation to regulate the cannabis industry. Mr. Fazasan in May said cannabis would be relisted as a narcotic, but now has agreed that the legislation was an appropriate step to take, according to the Deputy Prime Minister. I thank the Prime Minister for considering this matter and deciding on issuing an act, Mr. Ornuntin said following a meeting with the Prime Minister and Health Minister. Blah, 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 blah. Thailand has been rapid growth in the domestic retail sector for cannabis and industry projected to be worth up to 1.2 billion by 2025. It would be a matter of law and debated in Parliament where there is already a draft law. Secretary General to the Prime Minister, who was also a part of the meeting, told Reuters, whether it's a narcotic or not, it's not up to the Parliament. That's a first, isn't it? The decriminalisation of cannabis in 2022 was spearheaded by Mr. Bhumanjati's party, whose stronghold is in impoverished northeast, where it is promised farmers' cannabis would be the new cash crop, which it certainly would be, wouldn't it? So, Mr. Boomer Carhill, managing partner at Government Affairs Consultancy Vero Advocacy, said the latest development indicated there was now better coordination between parties in government on the complex cannabis issue. The policy reversal reflects greater alignment between the coalition parties where, compared to last year when the government was formed. A draft law on marijuana cannabis was submitted to the legislature under the previous administration, but Parliament was dissolved ahead of election last year without a vote taken. It was not immediately clear whether steps would be taken to crack down on recreational cannabis use. The proposed regulations to recriminalize cannabis have already been set in motion, but the Deputy Prime Minister, who is a member of the Narcotics Control Board, has vowed to vote again on the plan. So basically, it's still up in air what's going on, but it seems they're keeping the medical side of things, but want to make recreational still illegal as such. So
yeah, that seems like the direction they're heading in, isn't it?
Yeah, that seems to be their direction until
we'll
someone.
We'll see.
Don't
It's
look,
worth a
yeah.
lot of money, man. It's worth. Maybe they're looking at it like they can make enough money from just medical, but I'm skeptical of that. They always want more money. You know, it doesn't matter. Even if they're making just a little bit less, they'll be like, "Nah, there's still extra there. We should scoop that up as well." So I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to change at all, but
Yeah, they're not
scary,
too hot on the cannabis tourism either, but people go there anyway for tourism. It's like the cannabis won't attract people for the tourism. It's just an added part to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you
So
think, Monkey?
that's odd.
Oh, did he go out to get a drink or something?
Yeah,
Wait,
maybe.
What's that?
It's on
Yeah,
silent.
what do you think there, Monkey, about the whole thing with Thailand and the clear? Oh, we better not make it fully illegal because look, we can earn $1 billion here.
Well, I mean, you got to consider the amount of capital that was already invested into developing the industry. I mean, they had grows that were being built, they had greenhouses, facilities. The learning has been done. Foreigners that came in to provide the knowledge were actually thrown out of the country after it was made illegal again, but the knowledge and all the technology remained. It's almost natural that they're going to look at it going like, gosh, we're missing a whole lot of money here. But I honestly don't think that it's going to only be for medical use only. They'll probably look at it and try and figure a way of clamping down on out of control tourism and maybe taking some of that money back too. So one of those situations that the tourism got out of hand. It was turning into Disneyland almost, for weed. Anything you wanted, any place, anytime, anywhere. And I don't know. I haven't seen any place yet that's going legal, that's going that far. Sky's the limits kind of thing.
And you don't want a precedent being set like that, do you?
So, them calling it back, fully understand why that happened, but I'm not surprised that they're looking at it again. Won't be the last time to look at it either.
Yes, man. Well, good luck. We'll keep you informed, of course, everybody, about what's going on over in Thailand. When there is more changes, we'll let you know. But yeah, I don't. It's difficult to say because we haven't seen something like this before. But like you say, once people have gone legal, it's very rare for them to go backwards. So
yeah,
I don't know whether it will happen here in Thailand. It's just going to be uproar. There's so many jobs out there now like that are just going to be for the recreational side of cannabis. It's going to affect
money
a lot
talks,
of
man. Once they start seeing that the value of the money that they're losing to not having this, I seriously suspect that they're going to try and figure something out here, meet them halfway or something.
Yeah. Very interesting. All right, so we have one last story to get to.
Yeah, silly story. How's that?
Oh
Let's take a look at this.
What the fuck happened here, Monkey?
I don't know, man. But thumbing through articles and you see something like this. It says cocaine sharks aren't the only animals getting high. How spaced out moths, dopey dolphins, and drunk monkeys have all been recorded partaking in recreational drug use.
Wow.
I always like these kind of articles because frequently you have the anti legalization crowd saying that people aren't supposed to be looking for recreational releases and stuff like that. Well, we're not the only creatures in the animal kingdom that do this. Everybody does it apparently. So it's no secret from that moment when humans first got up and walked on two legs. We've been looking for ways to get wasted.
But it's there's theory to say that that's the reason why we have agriculture in the first place, was because we wanted to grow shit to make beer. So we started to properly grow the, what is it, fucking wheat or something? The maize. I don't know. I don't know what they grew. But it might have been corn or something. Just to make beer. And that's one of the reasons why we got agriculture in the first place. There's theories to that. I don't know how true they are.
But we can take through this article, we can read it all, or we can actually thumb down to the interesting parts. Let's take a look at the fun, more interesting parts. It says it isn't just humans that make a habit of consuming mind-altering substances. It says dolphins passing the pufferfish. From their complex social structures to their apparent sense of self-identity, scientists are continually finding ways which dolphins resemble humans. But one of the strangest similarities scientists have ever observed is dolphin also to appear and to enjoy drugs. In 2014, a BBC film crew captured footage of dolphins playfully passing around a pufferfish. The dolphins would chew on the unfortunate fish before batting it to the next dolphin in the pod. According to John Dowser, a zoologist and producer for the show, this is part of a cetacean equivalent of passing a joint. After passing the pufferfish around a few circles, the dolphin did appear to become stoned, lying motionless between the surface of the water and gazing at their reflections. As a defense mechanism, the pufferfish secrete a compound called tetradioxin in their eggs, liver, and small amounts in their spines. In human, high doses lead to paralysis, mental disturbances, convulsions, and death. In popular culture, this toxin is often caused to be the secret ingredient in a Haitian voodoo zombification ritual. So basically, they're taking a small dose of something that could kill you.
It tells us there in high doses, it leads to paralysis and shit. But tell us what it does in a normal dose. What's a little bit do?
Well, you can look at these fish, and now you know what it does.
Maybe it gets them really stoned and really happy and see what it does.
No,
you have to chew on a fish though.
That's it. You swim around and chew on a fish for a while. That's kind of.
Do I have to swim? I don't want to swim and be high. That sounds dangerous.
But you got to lay there in the water and look at your reflection. Ooh. But anyway, let's move on. Okay, cocaine sharks. However, not all animals in the sea are getting their drugs naturally or even voluntarily. Recently, science from Oswaldo Cruz Foundation found that 13 sharp-nosed sharks collected from the waters near Rio de Janeiro tested positive for cocaine.
And sharp-nosed sharks as well. It's like, that's perfect, isn't it? People who take cocaine a little bit too much, a sharp-nosed shark. That's what you are. You love it. You love it. One nostril's dissolved from the abuse.
Well, so researchers found so much cocaine in the sharks' livers and muscles that they were concerned that it could be reducing their life expectancy. Now, they're not saying that these sharks aren't actually just seeking out this stuff. It's being released from the population of Brazil, Rio. And so they're basically saying they get about a gram, just under a gram of cocaine released into the water system for every 1,000 people. So there's a good bit of cocaine going into the river out there in Rio. And these sharks, they don't know if the sharks are getting high. They don't suspect that the sharks are getting high, but they say it is affecting their reproductive systems and other things like that. So
I don't know what's scarier, right? A shark that's on cocaine or a shark that is no longer getting cocaine after he's had it. He's on the come down.
He's on a withdrawal, right? I mean, cocaine sharks.
Fucking looking at me.
I wonder who the heck decided to go ahead and measure sharks for cocaine. It's like, interesting to find out. Was somebody else tripping on shrooms one day? Said, "Hey man, we ought to measure sharks for cocaine." Is that the deal? I don't know.
It's probably just a made-up story.
All right, let's go to the next one. It says mandrills and hallucinogenic ibogaine. While dolphins and sharks might inadvertently take drugs, there are a few animals which appear to deliberately seek out plants with psychoactive properties. One such plant is the tabernath ibogaine shrub, also known as ibogaine, which grows wild in Gabon. In high doses, the root has extremely powerful psychedelic effects, which long been used in religious ceremonies of the indigenous groups of the Congo Basin. In recent years, ibogaine-assisted therapy has become popular, if legally dubious, treatment for opioid addiction. But the researchers claim that it's not just humans who have harnessed the psychoactive effects. George Samarelli, an independent plant biologist, claimed in 2002 book, Animals and Psychedelics, that mandrills use the plant as a natural stimulant. He claims to observe the animals dig up and consume the root while preparing for a fight for mating rights. You got to get high and then you got to have sex. That's what the mandrills are doing here. Hey, crazy. So it's not just humans doing this stuff now. Let's keep on. What's the next animal we're going to look for? Lemurs chewing on toxic millipedes. Another group of animals which fuse the medicinal recreational aspects of some natural chemicals are lemurs of Madagascar. Dr. Louise Peccary of Lebanese Institute for Primate Research in Göttingen has observed red-fronted lemurs deep in the forest just as the first heavy rains arrived. The rains triggered many giant millipedes to emerge from the underground hiding places. Despite the fact that the millipede secretions contain deadly cyanide, one female lemur quickly leapt on the emerging insect, snatching one up and chewing it. As she chewed it, the millipede released its deadly toxin, causing the lemur to salivate and drool an orange liquid. But rather than releasing the poisonous critter, the lemur continued to chew, rubbing her tail and genitals and anal region with the insect.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
This just got X-rated. Oh my God.
It really did.
Repeat that again for the viewers.
They can go back and re-listen to it, rewind, okay? Most strangely of all, footage of lemurs captured by BBC film crew in 2004 appears to show lemurs becoming high on the toxin. The footage shows that the lemurs appeared to have entered a trance-like state, biting the toxic millipedes and dosing themselves in a mixture of a mixture of the salvia and poison.
Saliva and poison.
Was it
so
saliva?
Yeah, it's like they're spitting on themselves.
Yeah, well, yeah.
These dirty bastards. They're
boofing
spitting
going
on
on, like,
themselves and fucking rubbing their genitalia with insects they found.
Insect
Gosh.
goo and everything else, just going for it. Instead of hawks,
man.
and now we're going to go into hawk moss and deadly datura nectar. So while
That's
lemurs
weird,
exploit the
man.
intoxicating properties of some toxic chemicals, other animals seek out drugs precisely because they are toxic. The datura is also known as Jimson weed, is a highly toxic flower plant in the nightshade family, sometimes nicknamed devil's trumpet. These flowers are a natural source of powerful hallucinogenic compounds that have been used traditionally in spiritual practices of the Navajo and Pima Native American tribes. Ingesting the flowers or seeds leads to delirium, confusion, agitated behavior, and can become fatal in high doses. However, none of that stops the hawk moth, one of the world's largest moths, making the datura a favorite snack. Hawk moths are so fond of the nectar that the flower that studies have shown that their brains react more strongly to the smell than any other flower. Sounds like this moth has its brain wired to a specific plant, kind of like humans in cannabis. Interesting. Would you think?
Yeah.
Kind of like humans go like, cannabis? Yeah. Datura flowers rely on the hawk moth's preference for the plant, largely pollinated by, and it is largely pollinated by their visits. Kind of like what humans have done with cannabis. We picked this plant up and we have decided it's ours and we're going to take care of it.
Maybe it picked us up.
Maybe that's true. Who's cultivating who? You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then we'll go into this one, drunk monkeys. If you're expecting to discover that animal kingdom was full of drug addicts, these mundane explanations might seem a little disappointing. However, there's one group of animals that have been well documented to seek out intoxication. Perhaps it should be no surprise that monkeys, our close genetic cousins, would be among the biggest boozers in the animal kingdom. While animals like elk and cows often spotted getting wasted on fermented apples by accident, scientists believe that monkeys will preferentially seek out the alcohol. Biologists from UK Berkeley found that monkeys will actively search for fruit that has become ripe enough to produce about 2% alcohol by volume. The researchers collected the fruit that had been eaten and discarded by the black-handed spider monkeys in Panama, as well as taking urine samples. Importantly, the urine collected from the monkeys contained secondary metabolites of alcohol that was not simply by passing through their systems. Basically, the monkeys are getting wasted. So there you go. We're not the only animals out there who like to get high. We're just animals.
That's
We're
right,
all
man.
animals like that, you know?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And this
It's
is
fun.
only the ones that we know about. You know, that's the interesting part to me.
Now, I'm sure at one point in history we would have known about it because we were these animals too. You know what I mean? And we just kind of lose the knowledge of we've moved our way into civilization. But I reckon there's loads of plants out there, right? Oh, like them blue lilies from Egypt that they have on hieroglyphics and shit. That's like thousands of years
Oh, you're
ago.
talking about the lotuses, the blue
Yeah,
lotus.
yeah, yeah, the blue lotus. Yeah,
They're
fucking,
supposed to be
there's loads of shit
psychoactive,
out
yeah.
there. And it makes me wonder. What are you saying? You want to try some centipede? Would you do it?
Out of me? No,
Yeah. Would you do
I'm
it,
not.
buddy?
Nah, don't.
Oh man, come on, just a little bit, just one blast. Some puffer fish. There's none of this sound tempting to you.
Ah.
You know, if you were gonna get mashed up off one of these insects,
Both from
animals,
insects.
you know, yeah. Well, yeah, that was. It wouldn't be there rubbing genitalia with a centipede and shit. I want to try that one.
Well, I usually
That's a
like
bit
to
too
leave.
much, man.
I like to leave my recreational use down to something that even if I'm stupid, is not going to kill me.
None of
You
these
know,
said they were deadly.
the puffer fish. Don't you go to puffer fish for a while, bro?
Yeah, only a little bit of the right bit though.
Well, I mean, most of them said, consumed in high quantities can be deadly, but yeah, you know, just I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I prefer my legal I call them legal illegal my preferred methods of enjoying a recreational buzz to have be non-toxic. You know, it's just me though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That's the safe thing about cannabis and mushrooms, isn't it? You're not gonna do yourself too much damage if you have too much.
No,
That's
you
the
can
important
have a
thing.
tough night and you'll be fine tomorrow.
But good story. Lots of interesting facts there. And just remember, everybody, it's even the animals get high, man. Everybody does it. Don't feel bad. Don't let them make you think you're doing anything wrong. You know, it's completely natural to get high sometimes, as nature shows. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying?
I'm
Uh,
telling you, I agree with that actually.
But yes, that's all the news articles we have, and I don't think we have any forum news to cover this week, right? Just the ending of the competitions because we're coming up to the end of the month, so the the competitions are coming to an end. So if you
Yeah,
haven't
so
entered
enter.
Mackey's monthly comp this month, get over there. Make sure you've entered in the next couple of days. What are you saying, Monkey?
Yep. I said we also got Plant of the Month coming
Mhm.
up. You enter that one. It's going to be closing for this month again. And anything like that, we have comps coming up. Please get over there and check them out.
Yes.
So
And then the interviews this week. We have Matt Clifton from Product Earth coming to join us on Tuesday. So if you're a Patreon, come and join us for that interview. They were going to figure out what's going on and cover some of the controversy with the sponsors and things like that. It's going to be a good discussion. Make sure you join us. And then Thursday we have another one, but it's to be confirmed. It's penciled in. I'll let you know throughout the week whether that one takes place or not. Again, through the Patreon page. So the patrons will find out. Keep an eye out. There'll be some posts. What else is there? Anything else? I think that's it for the news, right?
can't think of anything else.
No. Cool then. Let's take a smoke break. Smoke break. Yes.
Sweet.
Woo.
Warm this thing back up.
That was a lot of news articles. Not used to doing so many now. Just a couple of weeks of doing 5, and then that extra 6th one makes all the difference.
That Harris article was long, basically.
Oh yeah,
man.
yeah.
This is just it took up a ton of time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know
But
how
interesting.
important it is, but it's there. So we'll see. We'll
Yeah,
find
so-
out how important it was in the next couple of months.
That's right. Man, I can't believe it's still like 3.5 months of this.
It's the longest year in America, an election year. Always. It just seems to drag on forever.
So much going on. It's been interesting though.
Mm-hmm.
The Scottish lad from the show in tonight, guy near St Andrews. You mean Connor, I assume? No, he has. We should ask him to be on next week. I think he's busy sometimes. Has everybody got
Oh.
a drink and everything? You got a drink? Smoke?
My drink was already here, so we're all good.
Sweet. Same.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a drink.
Sweet. There he goes.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, just reading the chat there. The Stoner's got. I'm talking Durban Poison. Nice, nice. What else do we have in there? What's everybody got? Wonder where Marge is tonight. I wonder what she's up to.
I just remember her saying something about possibly not being here this week, and I don't remember why though. I don't know. Just wasn't paying that close attention, I guess. Shame on me.
No, I hope she's having a good time, whatever she's doing. But Mad Dog says in the chat here, I was fancying Product Earth, but I'm not going to London. Yeah, I've seen that because formerly, everybody, in case you didn't know, Product Earth is an event in the UK. And it usually goes on in Coventry, which is pretty much the centre of the UK. But this year it's been moved off to London. People were really happy with it at Coventry. So it's going to be interesting to find out why he's moved it down to London, why he thought that was a good option, or whether it was a better option than Coventry. I don't know. Yeah, London is more than a bit fucked, indeed. You say, Monkey?
No, I was curious, thinking you said it was had moved it. I just thought I had remembered it being in central England, and moving up to a corner like that. It's like, I get there's a lot of people up there, and that's what he's trying to do is capitalize on population centers and everything like that. But don't know.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Ask him, see what he says. It's his business, and he knows what he's doing. I'm sure he's got prices. There's overheads to cover.
Yeah.
Is he making enough in Coventry to have the event running? Maybe moving to London was the only option they had. We'll ask him. We'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting.
We'll get answers. We'll have answers then. We do not have them now.
That's right. It's best not to speculate. Man's will explain things. He's a good guy. I like it. We have had him on the show before, and he seems like a cool guy, man. I don't think he's doing anything to deliberately to fuck anybody over or anything, Just doing business, man. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. What else is going on? Man, yeah, just fucking still no legalization here in the UK.
Or down south where I am, either way. It's kind of exciting that, this November we may actually have a deep south, Gulf South state actually become the first recreational legal state. That'd be interesting to have. Break this roadblock down here. Don't know if that's going to happen. It all depends what Florida's going to do, but it's looking good.
It's going to happen eventually to all of the states. It's just going to take time. There's too much money left on the table. You know this.
Don't know.
How much it would commit to the local economy would be ridiculous amount. And that's going to be obvious now if people look at the states before they legalized and how much they were bringing in via taxes. So after they legalized, it's going to be a substantial amount of money. And, the coffers are all empty.
A lot of people think that, this prohibition stuff like that started a long ago. Actually, cannabis became Schedule 1 in 1971 under the Nixon administration. So it's relatively new. This has not been 100 years in the making here. This all started with the Nixon administration on the war on drugs during the Vietnam conflict.
Because it was like it wasn't really illegal, but you just couldn't get it because you had to purchase it with the cannabis tax stamps.
It wasn't a Schedule 1 offense back then. It was a misdemeanor. They could throw you in jail, kind of stuff like that if they wanted to. And they did harass people for it back in the day. But Nixon made it, now it became a federal offense and they could put you in prison for it. And it was said that he did it to try and help quash some of the anti-war people.
Greengrocer dropped an interesting one there. Is she listening, Greengrocer? Let us know in the chat there. Is it just you with headphones or is the new girlfriend listening? I don't want to read that out.
Yeah, I read it too.
Yeah, let us know. Can we talk? Are you good to talk, bro?
Yeah, I always tell people that people don't go in the back unless they need to go in the back. That's all I tell people. Only people who know to go back there or need to go back there go back there.
Oh, she's got the headphones on. Is that? Oh no, we're not saying anything further. Yeah, good. Yeah. Hope you're enjoying the show. Yes, enjoy a smoke. But where's Billy? Are you back yet, Billy?
Yep, Billy's back.
Sweet. Oh yeah. Still no on medical sales though. Yeah, man. Times will change. Slowly they're changing. But gosh, at least we're seeing some change. Yeah. Right then. Are we ready to move on to the grow guides and talk about some grow mediums? You ready?
Do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it, everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. Blah blah blah. YouTube talk. Let's go grow guides. Right then, this is episode 4 of the Grow Guides, and we've discussed so far planning your cannabis grow to give you an idea of how much you want to grow, what kind of setup you're going to be looking at. We discussed the equipment, so you know what tent to get, what extract to get, what lights to get, things like that. Then we discussed what seeds you can get. You should be able to make that decision. So hopefully now you're at that point where you've got all the setup. You know how many plants you're going to grow. You've got your seeds, and now you're at a decision of, what am I going to grow these in? Do I do a hydro? Do I do soil? Do I go organics? Do I grow salt-based nutrients? You know, which one is going to be easiest for a new grower? And that's what we're going to be discussing today. And you'll find that it's not just as simple as saying this is what's going to be easiest. It's going to depend on your individual circumstances to decide which grow medium is going to be the best one for you. Loads of people will say soil. Loads of people will say cocoa. And loads of people will say hydro. You know, some will say aquaponics, and it just depends on so many different circumstances. So that's what we're going to cover today. So hopefully by the end of this episode of Grow Guides, you'll have a good idea of what grow medium is going to be the right one for you. All right, and of course, as usual, every week, the article for this one, there's a few articles you should read over on percysgrowroom.com about this. We've got one specifically about the best grow mediums for growing cannabis, and we'll put this one up on the screen and work our way through it. But there's also articles that go into more detail about you know, what are the best hydroponic methods that you can use to grow cannabis, and what different kinds of soil you can use to grow cannabis as well. So it goes into more detail. So if you decide hydro is right for you or soil is right for you, head over to Percy's and look at those guides as well. But yes, loads of talking there, lads. Sorry about that. But I think that explains the intro quite nicely. Mediums, man. Gosh, where do we even start? Let's start with soil. That's what we should do, right?
I don't know. Guess we could start anywhere.
All right. Well, first off, what even is a grow medium? You know, this is essentially the definition is something like something that's going to hold the roots of the plant.
It's
So,
it's whatever is your roots are interacting directly with. That's your medium.
All right, yeah, and there's lots of different types. The most common one is soil. Well, the most well-known medium is soil, to say the least.
Good way to put it. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So, Billy, you are a soil grower.
Well, yeah, living soil.
Yeah, living
So
soil.
yeah.
And this is where we should start. You want to explain the differences between different kinds of soil?
I'm not a soil enough expert in that manner, but
None
from
of us
what
are, bro. We're keeping
I
it
suppose
simple.
the living soil, I suppose, really is where you have the ingredients are in the soil before you start. So you put all your stuffs in there, broken down already. Most of them are sold pre-done, pre-made. You can buy the amendments, so you can turn old soils into living soil. Some people, I add bokashi, so basically just fungus to it to give it a bit of a kick. But apart from that, it's just water only.
Yeah.
So the living soil is a water only thing. So that's what I like about the living soil, is the water only aspect of it as well. It
And
makes it a lot
this is
simpler.
new shit, ain't it? This living soil, because back in the day, which is only like 5 years ago,
There we go. Back in the
people, you
day.
know, people would just use normal bags of soil from. I mean, you can go to the grow shop and get the good stuff, which used to be the good stuff, like Canaterra. There's Dutch Pro soil. What other soils is there? You remember soils like that?
Eco-Thrive.
Eco Thrive is
Eco Thrive's a living
that,
soil.
yeah,
Is
that's a
it?
living
Okay.
soil, so it's
Yeah.
not the same thing. Because you can buy
Fox
these cheap
Farm,
bags, like I
Ocean
think it's
Forest,
Fox Farms
yeah.
Organics as well. I think that's
Fox Farm, Ocean Forest, Fox Farms, Happy Frog. There's several different mixes out there that you can get.
yeah, the BioBiz. Just
Yeah.
ones which you're buying a bag, and you can tell by the price what kind of soil it is. You'll get this for like £15, about $20 for a 50-litre bag for that kind of soil. It's a good price, and it's good soil. But during the grow, you're gonna have to add nutrients to that because that soil doesn't hold enough nutrients to grow the whole plant. So
Yeah, so I suppose the main difference between soil and living soil is one, you add the A and B nutrients and whatever else you add to it. In living soil, you've added everything it's preloaded as such, isn't it? It's called. So
well, there's the super soil in it, and super soil is like preloaded with all the nutrients, and it's water only. Should be water only for the whole grow, but the living soil, it has nutrients and bacteria and shit in it as well, so you can try and prolong the length of that. Super soil is more just rammed with everything it needs, but it need amending a lot. I think that's the way it's described. But the living soil is living soil specifically because it has a shitload of bacteria in it,
yes,
yeah, and they are water only soils, like we mentioned there briefly for the £15, $20 a bag of 50-litre soil. That kind of soil, you're gonna have to add nutrients to it at some point. But if you're using super soil or living soil, you should be able to get through the whole grow with just water. Maybe a few amendments. You're gonna sprinkle some different nutrients on the top of the soil, and then water it in. Make some amendments throughout it, but you don't have to water it and add nutrients to the water like you would do with the ordinary soil.
no pH balancing either.
But people say that, but I still think that it's a good idea to pH if your water isn't within the right range. A good soil should be able to balance it out because it's got like dolomite lime in and shit like that. But you don't want to take that risk. I think, in my opinion, it's better to just pH for the soil anyway. And that's a controversial one because some people say it's not necessary. But I just like to remind them that acid rain is a thing. There was
Yeah.
forests dying back in the 80s and 90s because of acid rain. So pH does matter in soil as far as
I always look at it as if your water source has a high EC and your pH is way off, that's going to affect your soil a whole lot. Now, if your water source has a very, very low EC, like rainwater, and it's a little bit off, when that hits the soil, your soil has enough oomph in it that's going to correct that almost instantly. So one of my characteristics for do I need to pH this water or not is what's the EC of that water? What's the water got in it? If the water is almost pure and there's nothing in it, the soil's pretty much going to take care of that. So I don't usually worry about that. But
yeah,
one of
it
those
depends
things,
on the water, definitely, doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah, water quality, and it's something one day we may want to talk about that. But water quality has a lot to do with how easily your growth is going to go. But we'll have to talk about that later. Right now, we're talking about media.
Yeah, that's right. And let's think about some pros and cons of ordinary soil. Just the standard soil, not the living soil and the super soil right now, just ordinary soil. And I have found from my personal experience, because I'm a cocoa grower, which we'll get into in a little bit, I don't grow in soil. I have grown in soil. And when I have grown in soil, I get bugs, man. I get some fungus gnats or some thrips or something. I've noticed that when I grow in soil, I'm far more likely to see bugs on my plants than when I grow in cocoa or hydroponic mediums. That's just from my own personal experience. So I think that's definitely a con. More likely to see bugs when you're growing in soil. Would you agree there? What are you saying? But do you see any bugs in your tent? Because I know you're a soil grower.
No, not really. I've had now and again, but they're easy to get rid of.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
bottom water for a bit, so it's not an issue. Just got to get on top of it straight away.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really have much of an issue.
Interesting one. Well, you grew in soil recently as well, Monkey. Did you see any bugs?
I actually had no problems with bugs when I did
Right.
the soil grow. I took some advice from people in soil recipes, and I incorporated a little bit of neem meal into my soil property so that actually the bugs don't like that. So if you kind of top dress with a little bit of neem meal, keeps the critters from coming through that top layer too easily. So there are things you can do. In other words, if you're having problems with drips or coming through your media, you can use sharp sand on the top to stop things like that. But we'll get into this later as we keep going we'll get into pest control. We'll talk about that later on in our grow guides. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But no, typically, if you do your soil right, I'm with Billy. I don't have problems. But if you do, then there are ways around that too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good option. I think soil is a good option, man. But the problem is with soil I have found, again, this is just my own personal experience, is when you have problems, they're not fixed as quickly as they would be in a cocoa grow. So if everything goes smooth from start to finish, then you're good. But if something goes wrong, it's a little bit harder to fix. I found that.
There's a couple of things in soil that you're talking about. You're talking about regular soil. Let's go ahead and talk about what people, if you're in the States, if you're completely new to cannabis growing and you're talking regular soil, you're probably thinking, oh, Miracle Grow soil. Please don't try that with cannabis. Miracle Grow soil is too high in nitrogen for most cannabis plants. It's not a good choice. You're not going to get high quality bud and really tasty bud with that. Use one of the brands that we've talked about already, and you're going to have a lot better luck with that.
Yeah.
So
What brand would you recommend then in the USA, Monkey? Do you get Canna and Dutch Pro over there, or just the Fox Farm stuff?
you can get Canna, Dutch Pro I haven't seen, but I'm not in an area that we have grow shops in. But I know you can get all the Fox Farm stuffs here, even at my regular garden center. You can get Coast of Maine down here even, which is they have some decent stuff in Stonington blends like that. I haven't seen any Kiss Organics or Build the Soil stuff here. When I grow in soil, I just make my own. I use TG's recipe that is posted over at Percy's, and it's easy. But again, if you've never made soil before and if you've never grown things before, I understand how this could be very intimidating. I have an experience level that I've made soil before, so it wasn't hard to do.
Yeah.
But if I was just going to buy a bag of soil to grow some weed where I live, I'd probably go get Fox Farms Ocean Forest and pick up the Fox Farms Trio while I was there, which would go really good with that. And that's going to get me from seed to harvest all the way through it right there. That would be the easiest way to do a soil grow where I am. But that's not going to be a water only situation. That's going to be where in seedling stage and halfway through veg, you're going to be fine. But once you flip the flower, now you're going to have to start feeding because she's going to get hungry on you.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to do something water only to the end, I'd probably go to Coast of Maine Stonington, which is supposed to be a super soil type thing, water only to the end, but you'd have to use like a 7-gallon pot to get there.
Yeah.
Lots of different things like that, though.
This is the thing, and this is what you have to balance out now with the soil. Is you got that cheaper soil, which is still reasonably expensive, with the $15 to the £15 in the UK, and like $20 in the USA for a bag of 50-liter Canna Terra, for example. But when you're going for the super soils and the living soils, you're looking more like that's £50, which is what, say, £60, $60 for you guys. Yeah,
depends. Yeah,
and that's just for like 45 liters or something, 50 liters at the maximum. And you have to buy a lot. You can't just have them in small pots. You have to have them in 50-liter pots. So pretty much for each plant, you want at least 45 liters. So, which is what's 45 liters? About 10 gallon and 11 gallon for you.
about 10. Yeah, 10, 11, maybe 15 gallon even. But yeah.
So, and that's the smallest. You don't want to go any smaller than that. So, but at the same time, because you can just water the plant with adding no nutrients, you don't need to buy nutrients as well. But if you're growing in normal soil, the cheaper bags, then you have to buy nutrients for that. You're going to have to buy the A and the B and some PK booster and things like that, which if you use living soil or super soil, you're not going to have to. But it's that initial cost. But if you have the money to set up and buy the living soil, it's definitely a good way to go. But if not, buy the cheap soil, and in a couple of weeks when the plants start to need food, you can go out again later on and go and get the nutrients if that's the way you need to go. But
yeah, as a new grower, start off as easy as you can think you're going to make it for yourself is what I'm going to tell you here. Don't complicate things. Over at Percy's, we always say that keep it simple. After you learn the basics and after you can keep the plant alive and reach harvest, then you're going to change a few things. But right now, you know what? Keep it simple.
Yeah, man, keep it simple. So there's some options for you when it comes to soil, and as you can tell, it's not just as easy as saying use this soil. You have to decide what's right for you. One more thing with the soil is you will be watering every other day or maybe every 3 days. You don't need to do it every day. So that's one of the benefits of growing in soil as well. There's lots of benefits to it. You just have to decide if that's right for you. And of course, it doesn't look dodgy when you get in soil. It looks more dodgy if you get in the hydroponic mediums and shit. If you're growing in an illicit place anyway. There's lots to take into consideration. But then, after soil, we got like the middle ground, and I find a lot of growers grow in this grow medium, which is cocoa. Fucking, I love cocoa. This is my favorite. I've grown in many mediums in my time, and cocoa has just been it's just been kind to me. Good yields, good quality cannabis, easy to fix any problems if you get them. And I would recommend this for any new grower because it's just like growing by numbers. But at the same time, people would recommend doing a living soil grow as well because that's real easy. Just plant the seed, water it every 3 days and shit. But as I say, if there's any problems, you need to know how to fix them, and they're not easy to fix. With cocoa, everything's easy to fix. You know this, Monkey, right? Because you grow in cocoa as well.
Started in cocoa. Cocoa is still in my tents, not exclusively anymore, but yeah, I love cocoa. Uh, it's not just a one size fits all thing with cocoa. You can tailor your nutrients, you can tailor your grow, you can make anything happen. I am so far out of bounds with cocoa right now that you might even call it halfway soil grow what I'm doing, but the yields are great. There's a learning curve. That's the one thing about cocoa. In cocoa, you grow by the numbers, and literally your meters are important because you need to know things like pH and nutrient concentrations, your EC of your fluids and things like that. And so frequently new growers get confused by the numbers, and it takes you a grow or two to get comfortable with it. But once you get comfortable with the cocoa numbers, sky's the limit. I mean, you can nail the grow, and yields are just probably, for me, I'm just going to say me, probably 20% higher on a cocoa run.
I would say the same, yeah. I would say
Yeah.
because I've grown in organics too, and the difference between the final yield, and like a week sooner as well, maybe 2 weeks sooner, 2 weeks. It seems to be faster when you're growing in cocoa, just because you can water it every day, and this is one of the benefits, everybody, when you come to watering, when you're growing in cocoa, is you can water this shit every day. Every 15 minutes, you can run water through it if you want to. It's very difficult to overwater a plant that's grown in cocoa. But it's easy to overwater if you're growing in soil. It's one of the common things. New growers would water the plant too much when you really want the plant, the soil to dry out a bit in between waterings. With cocoa, you're just smashing it in there, man. Just the plant loves it, and that's what helps the plant grow so quickly.
Yeah, when we see problems at Percy's, when people come over and have problems in soil growers, one of the biggest problems we see is not being comfortable with watering, either over or under watering. In cocoa growers, we have the opposite, that they're not watering frequently enough. Because like Mike Mackey said, with cocoa, you can water that thing 4 times a day and it'll be fine. It's just gonna, what it doesn't use runs right out the bottom. You're done. No problem about all that. But soil is different. If you overwater it, the plant will suffer. Just that simple. So
But
there's a learning curve. There's a learning curve to soil too. Then I guess
yeah, that's it. It's all going to take a learning curve, and I find as well that people who started off in soil will say soil is easy, it's straightforward, nice and easy, and people who started in hydroponics will be like, no, this is easy, soil's difficult, and it's just whatever you're starting, because you learn all of these different things. It's just easier in that initial medium that you began in, so you just have to pick what's right for you. So if you want to grow in a soil where you don't have to water it every day, because cocoa takes every day, you're going to get a little bit more of a yield out of it. It might grow a little bit faster compared to a soil, but it won't be that much different. Some say that growing in the living organic soils increase the flavor of the cannabis as well. So that's something that you can consider too. There's all these minor things that you have to add up and figure out which one is the right medium for you. But for me, cocoa is the right medium. I would love to grow organically, but I don't know. I don't have the resources to do that shit. It don't work for me. I love being able to look at my plants and be like, oh, look, those leaves are getting a little bit yellow. Here's a little bit more nitrogen today. 'Cause I know what's going on, and I know exactly what the plant's getting every day, and that's good for me. I like that. If that would work for you, roll with that. But remember, you have to water it every day. This week I've been there like 1:30 in the morning, like tired as fuck, like, oh shit, didn't water the fucking plants. Can't go to bed. Have to water those. It needs to be done every day. You can't. These are things you have to consider. You have to do it every day. Sometimes you can't be asked, but it doesn't matter. It has to be done anyway. You can get auto feed setups and shit, but that costs extra money. But that option is also there. Cocoa is a great medium, so consider that one, everybody. And also cocoa is considered a hydroponic medium as well. So you need your EC meter and your pH meter, so things like that. So there is extra cost in setting up that as well. It probably ends up on the initial setup around the same price as living soil would. So make your decisions there. It's up to you to figure out which one is going to be best for you from there. But what do you think, Billy? You ever grown in cocoa?
Yeah, I've grown in it. I just don't like the attention it needs, like you said, like the daily watering, and if it's really hot, sometimes twice a day. So no, it's too much work for my liking, to be honest. That's why I like the living soil, just straight in there with the ease.
How often you have to
Yeah.
water your plants in your living soil?
Every 3 days, they can get away with 4 days, 5 or 6 as well, depending on how much you water them. I can go on holiday for a week, but not have to worry.
Yeah. That's it. So
So
many different
yeah,
ways, man. And that's it. If you're away from your plants often, and we have Twisted over at the forum, and he can be away from his plants for a week at a time. So he grows in soil because he can set up auto timers to water the plants at specific times, and they stay happy then, and that's an option when you're growing in soil too. So consider that as well. If you are able to get to the plants every day and you want to get a good yield quickly, cocoa would be perfect for you. But if you want to, just maybe take it a week longer on the grow altogether, it's not a massive difference, and a cut in the yield. You have a little bit less work there. You only have to water it every 3 or 4 days. Living soil organics is good. But if you don't have the money to set that up straight away, then get a cheap soil for now. And I say cheap, but still $15 to $20 for a 50-liter bag. Maybe that's not really cheap, but it's where you can start. It's a step you can take to begin, and that's the most important thing, is taking that first step. So what's next? We're gonna go further into that hydro shit. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Now, and it all sounds difficult because there's extra equipment involved at this point, but realistically, like I say, if you start off in a specific medium, that's going to be your medium that you stick with for a while, and you find it easy in that medium just because you learned all those things. But hydroponics, now cocoa is considered hydroponics, but there's other hydroponic mediums as well. So Billy, you want to talk about some hydroponic mediums? Have you ever grown in any hydroponic mediums like DWC and shit?
that's one thing I've never done is hydro. Actually,
Right.
it's always been cocoa.
Which is hydro, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's not hydro. My friend grew in hydro, and I used to watch him with the mats and stuff like that, and the trays.
Yeah, the
So
real
yeah,
hydro growers call cocoa growers. They call us with training wheels.
Yeah, because
yeah,
it's so easy.
It is.
And I don't mind. I stick with these training wheels. I don't care.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
yeah. It's just all the sort of like the equipment you need. You have to make sure it's certainly clean there all the time as well, because obviously you can get like mold issues and that. So yeah, it's quite finicky. But it's when you set it up, then I suppose it's easy. It's easy to have an automated hydro system, I suppose. Have everything, isn't it? That's the easiest one to have automated. You've got the deep water one, which
Yeah.
is probably the best I've seen,
Yeah,
probably
massive plants
of the newer ones. Yeah,
ridiculous.
So yeah, but apart from that, I don't know too much about the modern hydro stuff as such, because I just steer clear of it.
Yeah, I've
How about
grown
you?
in DWC back in the day. That's what I started with. That was the initial medium that I started with. And the biggest concern with it is because you have the air pumps and it's just constantly boo, this vibrating sound. So if anybody visited my house and sat in my kitchen at the time, you just had this fucking constant buzzing, and it's not.
You can't blame it on your vibrating balls all the
You know what I
time,
mean?
can you?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, one time and they're like, "Oh, he's a bit kinky," but then second time it's like, "Oh, this guy's a little bit sick," So you can't leave things just vibrating.
So you can.
So yeah, I changed to because I was supposed to go to soil. I wanted to try soil, so I went to the grow shop and got a bag of soil, and I've grown it for like a week, and the plant looked like shit, man. And I asked for help online. And it's like, yeah, that's not soil, bro. That's cocoa. I'm like, fuck. Because you have to treat them differently. You have to have a different pH, use different nutrients when you're growing in cocoa compared to soil. And yeah, so then I just had to learn how to grow in soil, in cocoa, sorry. And that's why I'm still growing cocoa now, because it's so fucking good. But, yeah. But DWC is a good way to grow massive plants quickly,
Huge yields on that, man. Gigantic yields on DWC.
But like Chilbert says there's the terpenes suffer a little, maybe. It's not as high quality as you would get from the living soil organics. It's something to consider as well. But it takes extra setups. You need air pumps with your DWC. You need timers. You've still got to get the pH meter, the EC meter, some good nutrients. There's a lot of stuff that needs. It's like a whole setup you have to buy when you're doing this kind of hydroponics. And you have the DWC where each plant is in a single bucket. Like each plant is like 25 liters in each bucket at least. Sometimes even bigger. But you have an air stone in there that's just bubbling oxygen at the roots all the time, and the plants just love it. They just grow so fast. Very easy to keep control of once you get the balance right. It takes a while to get used to that, but when you have when you're working well with the plant and when it needs water, when the EC needs changing and shit like that, and we'll go into more detail in the future. Don't worry. But once you know that shit, once you get it down, you'll be fine. And it's a nice, easy medium to grow in, and you can fully automate that. I say fully automate it, but to the extent where you only need to visit it once a week and top up water if necessary. You can really automate a lot of that. So if you're away from your plants a lot, that might be an option for you. But equipment might fail. It's a bit risky, but that's an option for you. Big yields, very quick, and you can automate it. So DWC, nice.
Yeah, I was going to say there is a bit of a learning curve on DWC growing like that. So that is one that once you master it, you'll be very happy with it. But it's going to take some work to actually get it going. So be aware of that.
Then there's like NFT, nutrient film technique. Have you seen that one before, Monkey?
Yeah, thin film.
Yeah, good. This is it's used not just for cannabis, for lots of different crops.
Yeah, it's basically where you have a very shallow, like table-like structure like that almost, and your plant is growing on this surface, and the surface has got a cover over it and has nutrient that is very slowly passed across this table-like surface. Thin film of nutrients that contact the roots, and that's how the plant eats. Right there, it's thin film on a thin surface on a surface right there, and it's that can be a constant flow of nutrients, can be a periodic flow. I've seen it set up both ways. I've never done it myself. I have seen we have people at Percy's that run this, and I've seen their results. It can be very successful. I would say it's probably as technical as DWC. There's a learning curve, and there's some things you have to play with there, but yields are there. Looks like a viable way to me. It's just more than I want to get into. That's just me.
Yeah, it's just a bit. Things got really easy as it got legalized, and now with the rise of living soil and things like that, it's just become so different than what it was. It was good to grow in these hydroponic mediums back in the day, but I find not many people do it now. There's a few growers that still do these types of hydro, the DWC, the NFT, and the ebb and flow, and all of these. But nowadays, people just they go for the living soil is very common, or they grow in cocoa. It seems like the two most popular mediums. You know what I mean? That's what we see most of.
Probably because especially at Percy's, we deal with strictly personal home grow stuff like that, and the entrance cost into the DWC arena is higher, so you can just not many people jump into that. I think.
Yeah.
I would be more skeptical because of space considerations. My tents are small. I could probably put a 1-plant DWC in my tent versus 2 plants in either soil or cocoa. So just one of those things. But again, that one DWC plant may produce as much as 2 of my other ones. Who knows?
They are beasts.
They are.
But what do you think there, Billy? If you was to recommend to a new grower what grow medium they should start with, what would you recommend?
Living soil, because of the ease of it all round. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you just have to add water. So there's no measuring out, nothing. You don't have to buy no meters for anything. It's just soil, light, and water. You can't really go wrong, can you? If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tell me where you can go wrong with that compared to with measuring out all different EC meters and shit like that.
Make a good argument, bro. Make a good argument. Damn. Yeah, it's just when you come to having problems, that's what I found the issue was with living soil. But
but you don't have problems with living soil,
but I'm a shit grower in soil.
Yeah, but that's soil. This is living soil. They're two different things, aren't they?
Very true. That's it. I've got to go back there. I want to go back to living soil, and there's so many good benefits to it as well. But I think cocoa is just easier, just because you can fix problems so quickly. I mean, there's definitely the fact that you don't have to water living soil so much, and it's pretty much straightforward. But if you have problems, then those problems are not easy to fix, you
Hmm.
know. But if you
Yeah.
have cocoa, those problems are easy to fix, man.
Yeah. Cocoa is a very basic. I mean, for new growers, if you see something you don't like, first step is to flush all the media out, remix a new batch of nutrients, and refeed. And 90% of the time, you're fixed right there.
Hmm.
90%. That's it.
But
Very
yeah, that living
basic.
soil. I mean, I've always thought cocoa was going to be the easiest because it's grow by numbers. Come over to Percy's grow room. Be like, I'm growing in soil. I'm growing in cocoa. Sorry, I have these nutrients. What should I do? And we'll be like, put this much in, this much in, this much in, that much in. There you go. Water every day.
Yeah.
And that's it. There you go. That's what you have to do. And we'll be able to sort you
Yeah.
out with the nutrient regime and get it all set up. But living
And
soil,
we,
you're just going to have to water it. So that's easy enough. Sorry, monkey.
and we have new growers over there that start with cocoa
Hmm.
and they get confused because they want to look at these numbers and they want all the numbers to match up perfectly. But as soon as they loosen up a little bit and understand that, okay, we're giving you a number range because we want you to kind of fall into this area. We don't want you to be right in that number. Once you get that, cocoa is easy, man. It's so
Hmm.
simple. But yeah, it's the first grow is learning the numbers and figuring it out. Run a diary over at Percy's. We will help you get to your harvest, and by your second grow, you'll have it.
Yeah.
But and that's where I would tell. I mean, that's why I'm partial for new growers starting cocoa is because problems are so easy to fix.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't overwater it, and any
Less
problem
likely to
can be
get
fixed.
bugs. You know, there's just
Yeah,
there's
little
them
things.
benefits, man. But it's a difficult one to make. It's that decision that makes the difference of are you going to be able to be there every day to water it?
True.
If not, living soil might be the better option. But then at the
That's
same
right.
time, living soil is still a good option. It's not like cocoa is the one I'm recommending. It's such a
Mm-mm.
difficult decision to make because both of them are so fucking good now. We never had these
Yeah.
options back in the day. We had decent soil, but you still had to feed the soil like you had to do with cocoa grows anyway. But now you have these living soils. It's just like, why not just go with that? Just water the fucking thing, and be
Mm-hmm.
prepared for issues. And if you get them, then they can be fixed over at Percy's as well. We've got plenty of organic growers. You know,
Yeah.
it's just so difficult for people to make that decision. The more options I have, the more difficult I find to make a decision. And I know there's many people who have that same option, and that's where I am. It's just there's so many options now. I'll just stick with cocoa, I think, for now. But I do want to go to living soil. But damn.
Yeah. Actually, when I started growing, I was intending to be a soil grower. I
Hmm.
was going to make my own soil. I was going to do it the way I always have done things. I've been growing vegetables and flowers and things like that for years. Figured it's no
Hmm.
big deal. Got on the internet, tried to do a little bit of research about soil for cannabis, and completely just threw my hands up and said, nope, gonna do cocoa.
Yeah.
Because everybody had different opinion on
Hmm.
soil. I mean, it was ridiculous. I tried to put something together based upon things I saw on the internet. My pH in the soil was off. I tried growing something in that soil, not cannabis, and my gosh, it was just like, no, no. And I mean, that's what I'm saying. Cocoa, it was simple. Take this bag, take these nutrients, bam, you got a plant. And that's what I did.
Mm-mm-mm. So,
No
what would you
regrets.
recommend then, Monkey? What would your recommendation be to a new grower thinking about what medium they're going to grow in? What would your recommendation be?
Buy a bagged pre-buffered cocoa and basic A and B, and let's do this.
Yeah.
Maybe some CalMag, and let's make it work.
Yes, man. So, as you can see, everybody, there's always going to be a difference of opinion. You have to figure out which one is right for you individually. And there's so many ways to go swimming with a cat, as we like to say. So, figure out which way you want to go swimming, man, and just fucking do it. Because that's the most important thing. Take the first step, get it started, and then come to Percy's Grow Room and ask for help. And we'll be able to, start a diary. We'll be able to monitor everything as you move through, you grow. Any problems, we'll get them sorted straight away. So, whatever you choose. Come and get advice over at percysgrowroom.com. It's just about time. I think that makes the biggest difference. If you have less time, go for either automated hydroponic system or a living soil, and then you don't have to water every day. But otherwise, go with cocoa, which you can also add an automated water system to. So cocoa's got higher yields. Hydroponics tend to grow a little bit faster with higher yields, but then the organic slash soil grows tend to grow a little bit slower, but only a bit, only like by a week, maybe two at the most. But they say they have more terpenes, that they have a better flavor to that cannabis. But you get
Yeah.
problems with the overwatering and things like that as a new grower. So many things you have to toss up and decide for yourself. So, let us know what you do decide. And yeah, we'll help you along the way if you ask over at Percy's. You were saying, Monkey?
Yeah. I was gonna say, and I mean, once you get the basics with cocoa, I can give you a few ideas on how to increase that terpene profile by adding things like microbes to your cocoa. So don't think you're boxed in strictly by one thing. There are lots and lots of ways you can experiment with your media. So pick one, and I guarantee you, there's a rabbit hole and a half ahead of you.
That's right. So that's about it, I think. It's everything to cover there. I think next week we'll cover nutrients, what kind of nutrients you need while growing cannabis, because that will be the next thing you get as well, especially if you're growing in a hydroponic medium. You're going to need nutrients. So we'll discuss that next week. But you should have a good idea of what you're going to do by now, everybody. If for those who are not growing yet, you got a nice little plan laid out there of everything you need to get so far. So get on it. We want to see some grows popping up around the place, man. Don't be shy. Get your shit put together and start your little grow. Even if it's just a small one, you can advance later on. If you're buying cannabis all the time, that money that you're spending on that cannabis can be saved if you just grow your own, and you can save money and buy a bigger setup later on. Grow your own cannabis. Yep. All the instructions are here. You know what I'm saying?
Best time to pop that bean is now. Do it.
Get on that shit, and of course start a diary, because we want to see what beans you've popped. If you've listened to this podcast and now you're encouraged to start your own, then let us know about it, man, because that's what we do this for. Fucking let us know. Feed us. Yes. Be like, yeah, look, I started growing because of you guys. Be like, fuck yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's why we do this shit. Anything to add here, Billy?
Yeah, don't forget to keep your ladies moist.
Brilliant.
I love it.
Brilliant. Right, we've got a couple of listener mail questions. Let's do those.
Oh boy, here we go.
There's nothing too crazy. We've just got a couple today, I think. We'll go with Coops first. Coops98. He asks, what is everyone's all-time favorite strain from the High on Homegrown panel? And it's a question we've been asked before, but I'm sure our answers are different today. What are you saying, Monkey? What's your favorite, man?
Oh, it would be it was the Jorge Balsac weed, man. That would be Tropicana cherries. That was bred by, I want to say, Relentless Genetics. It was the first prize winner in 2023 Spannabis Sativa competition. And I'll tell you what, that was the best weed I've ever smoked. I've grown some stuff that was close, but never that.
No, man. What are you saying, Billy? What's your favorite?
I'd have to go with bubblegum and the original cheese.
Oh, man.
I think.
That would be close to my choices as well. That original bubblegum from the late 90s there. Jesus.
Yeah, man.
Where is it, man? Gosh. I'd love a cut of that. Damn. Yeah. And the original cheese, of course.
And the original cheese,
that original bubblegum. Damn. How did they make it taste like that? But there's so many options, isn't there? That's the problem. There's so many options, man.
That's the thing you could name, because you've got like lemon haze as well. So you could White Widow was
Jack
lovely.
Hera.
Jack Hera. Critical was lovely.
So many options.
Durban Poison. So there's loads of options, but yeah, I think the
CBD cream and cheese.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I
So
think
many options.
It's the one you're smoking right now is always the best.
I don't know, man. I think back to some of the weeds have grown. That Jack Hera from Seedsman specifically, which was like £3 a fucking bean, was definitely one of the best. That was so fucking good, man. I loved that Jack Hera. So I still remember it now. But damn, so many.
Yes,
just
some
so many
stick
good
in your
strains,
head, don't
man.
they?
People got to get out there, And if you're growing somewhere illegally, go to somewhere legal on a holiday where you can get access to lots of different varieties of cannabis. Try as many as you possibly can, and then grow that one. That's an option for you. Make a holiday out of it. It's a research mission. You know what I'm saying? Get to Amsterdam. Get to California. Whatever you have to do, go somewhere where it's legal, and smoke as many strains as possible. Figure out what is best for you. But yeah, it's just, and you feel different from day to day, don't you? It's like, oh, this strain's my favorite, that strain's my favorite, blah 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 blah. It changes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all say Jack Hera's a quality one, though, right?
Yeah. Now let me ask you similar question. But was there ever a strain that you grew that you didn't keep that got away that you wished you would have kept?
Oh man, yeah, quite a
You know
few.
that just that one cut, you're going like, damn, why didn't I save this
Yeah,
one?
it's one of the bad things about autos. I grew an auto before, which was black. It was just so fucking
Mm-hmm.
dark, man, so purple. And but it was an auto. You know, you couldn't do anything, man. And it tasted
Mm-hmm.
like Coca-Cola. Fuck, that weed was good.
I'm
But
telling
it's
you, when you get that kind of
man,
stuff, you just kick yourself for not saving a cut.
yeah, you just couldn't though because it was an auto flower.
I know.
You know, so this is one of the sad things about autos, which was mentioned in this week's interview, I think. So you don't get to keep the genetics, but that's also one of the beautiful things about it as well. Just enjoy it where you've got it. But damn, yes, good question there, Coops. I like that one. Let us know what your favorite strains are, everybody, in the chat there and in the comments. Of course, we like some comments on the videos. We have one from Phil, which is actually a decent one from Phil. Thanks, Phil. You didn't go too psychologically deep this time. It's a grow question. So we have if a small light leak in your tent turns a plant into a Hermy, then could a bright full moon turn your outdoor plant into a Hermy? Not that I do any gardening on a full moon. California is full of werewolves and vampires, if you didn't know. Of course, I've seen all the movies. Well, yeah, what are we saying, man? I mean, you want to explain this one, Monkey? You want to talk about light leaks?
I've heard, as far as outdoor plants go, that they react completely different to our indoor plants because they were grown in an environment. They got used to the light levels at night, things such as this. And, your indoor plants are in complete darkness. So a small light leak is huge to them. It's completely different. And the way it's been explained to me is the plants just naturalize and act differently based upon their environment. And that's why a fully cannabis plant in full bloom is going to be sitting there for a couple of months, and looking through full moons and everything else, and it won't affect them because this is natural for a plant. It's nighttime. These things were bred. They live. They evolved to live in that, so
Mm-hmm.
it's normal. They're not going to harm.
It's
It's
more of an irregular light cycle that's gonna fuck with your plants. And that's what you don't want to see. And so
Mhm.
for the full moon, they can take up to the light of a full moon, and a full moon is like a regular cycle. Every few weeks, it's going to come back around and be full again. So the plant gets used to that. But if you got some sporadic light pattern going on while the plant's in flower, stresses the plant out too much when it's trying to like produce the daytime hormones it needs versus the nighttime hormones it needs, backwards and forwards, stressing, temperature stresses, so many stresses, man. And that's what makes the plants hermy. And it depends on how strong the genetics are as well. Then this is one of the reasons why I like autos. It doesn't matter so much if there's a little bit of a light leak and shit. The plants would just do their thing. So it's definitely a good reason to grow autos. I think less likely to get hermy in those situations, but still,
Yes. Yeah, you can plant an auto under a street light; they'll be fine.
yeah, it'll do the job, and
Exactly.
it'll look nice as well.
Mhm. Yeah, the other thing about the moon cycle is, you have to remember the moon cycle and the amount of light that you're going to get. It changes very gradually and slowly. It's not like bam all at once. It goes from complete no moon and then slightly over the course of the month you'll gain a little bit, and then you'll lose it a little bit each night.
Yeah, man. So it's a good question because some people will grow outside in their back garden and shit, but it's not just the moon that you have to worry about. I mean, the moon will be fine; it's not going to interfere with the plant. But if there's security lights, spotlights, cars driving by, houses that are going to flick on a light that's going to give the plant light at random fucking times, things like that. These are things you have to consider. You don't want sporadic light patterns getting to your plant because it's going to upset it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, consider all those things with light leaks. Full moon's good. Regular light cycle, good. But of course, if it's getting too much, it's not going to flower if it's photo period and all that. But you shouldn't be that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, anything else to add to that? You got anything to add to that one, Billy?
No, no, that's good.
That's about it. That's about it. Yeah. Just and for the vampires, I heard garlic works. Yeah, I don't know about the werewolves. What can you do? What can you do? Just good luck, man. Good luck. But that's it, I think. That's the answer to all the questions from the listener mail. We've covered the grow mediums. And of course, if you have any questions, anybody, head over to percysgrowroom.com and we can help you out. And of course, as well, check out if you know anybody who wants to start growing their own and you want to refer them to a guide, then refer them to episode 1 so they can make their way through the series here and they can learn how to grow their own cannabis step by step with all of the information they need. You know, we break it down as small as we can make it so it's easy to consume. So I hope it all makes sense to everybody, and it will make sense to anybody who's new to this. So share with them if you can. That would be awesome. But of course, no pressure. But that's it, right?
Well, and
are we done?
if they don't quite have all the information they want about mediums, they have more questions, you can always drop over at percysgrowroom.com. Membership is free this month, so drop on over there, sign up, and ask the membership over there. You'll find out we give information freely in a very friendly manner, and we'll help you get started.
Yeah. And you don't need to be a member either. There's these guides that you can just read without being a member of Percy's.
Yeah,
They're all there. The one to explain which mediums to grow in, a breakdown of all the different kinds of soil, a breakdown of all the different kinds of hydro. So it's all there over on percysgrowroom.com as well. But you can join the forum if you want to, but you can also just read posts, or you can just listen to the podcast, whatever. Thank you very much for being here and all that.
Mackie, myself, and Billy are there all the time, so drop on by.
And on the Discord as well, which is in the link in the description.
True.
Just click
If
that.
you don't like the
Billy will
forum,
be there.
Don't
Send
like
him
the
a picture
forum?
of your
Check
socks.
out the Discord. Yes. Yeah, Billy be checking out your socks for sure. Oh my God.
Join the Discord and send a picture of Billy of your socks to cheer him up throughout the week. That would be good. But I think that's everything, man. Nice. Let's go to the outro. We good? Anything else? Anything else? Let's do
No,
it.
man, it's cool.
Fading out professionally. There we go. Yes, good show, everybody. I hope it answers all the questions, you know, but there's always a chance of there's something being left out. And if you're unsure of anything, of course, head over to percysgrowroom.com and all of that. You know, blah, blah, blah. We tell you every week. You know what's going on by now. You know what's going on. Is there any music trying to play and screw me over here? Is it good? Is that the outro fine? Yeah, okay. We look good. I think it's good. Yeah, man. Good show, everybody. Good show. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe and all of that YouTube talk that we have to do sometimes. But yeah, we had a good week this week, everybody, for the views over on YouTube. So thanks to everybody who has watched the videos that we put out. Because I cut the news articles up into separate stories now and send them out. And one of them got 10,000 views on that motherfucker now. 10,000 views on one of them. And then like 4,000 views on another one. That's crazy. That's high numbers for us on one individual video. So very cool. Thanks to all of those guys.
Mackie almost needed new socks after that.
That's right. I did need new socks. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, man, good shit. I like to see that happen. I don't know what it was that did it, but you know, it's there. We just we were like chilling on Sundays with you guys and saying the news and the grow guides and all that. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Well, I think that's everything. Marge will be back next week. If you're a Patreon, don't forget to join us for the interviews throughout the week. I'll put the posts up on Tuesday, on Thursday, so you know more about that as it happens. But yeah, is there anything else to add here? Are we done?
I think I got it. We're done.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's been a pleasure, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the like, share if you can. We would appreciate that. But most of all, we just appreciate you guys being here and sharing your Sunday with us. Stay high, stay safe, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye. We're waving.
Peace.